Now, for you bone token holders, I got you another banging update. This one is regarding one of our major players, a major partner for Shibarium. I'm talking about K9 Finance, and everyone, my subscribers, my listeners, wants more details regarding this project. So, guys, I got the big boy in the house to give you all the news regarding K9. Tell us, my man, how you feeling?
Super excited to be talking today about Canine and everything that we've been able to accomplish since we launched our pre-sale in January, and now very shortly coming to our token generation event March 7th. So my background is that and again, I'm Buzz. I'm the founder of Canine Finance and lead dev. I've been in crypto since about 2016, so this will be my third halving coming up, which is very exciting in and of its own right. I've always been building products in the space, so I started with coming into the space really as a trader with that trading mentality, and building out arbitrage models on some of the first exchanges that were launching from like 2016 to 2018. So one of the first people to be building on the Binance API and build up infrastructure that was trading across the 8 largest exchanges at the time, like Bitfinex, Binance, Coinbase, Poloniex, Bittrex, and some more that exchanges that are definitely defunct by now. And building out arbitrage models over 140 different pairs. And even back then, we were doing significant volume and a significant share of the volume of the total arbitrage market in crypto. So over the course of those years, our team did about $2.5 to $3 billion worth of arbitrage trading across those different pairs. Um, in that, became very deep into these 140 different pairs that we were trading, and became super user of many different early ETH products that were launching. And back in those days, the majority of activity, at least 90%, was ETH dominated. So I think I was actually probably one of the first people to ever deploy a market on Augur, which was a really hot platform that launched in 2017 that was doing prediction markets. And it's funny looking back at those times. It was so difficult, even as an end user, to use some of these products. Like to use a DApp back in 2017, you actually had to like have your own node, and
Wow.
it's pretty funny looking back. I actually got to check out one of my old wallets a couple weeks ago, and I was just going through Etherscan. I was like, "Wait, what the heck is this?" Like there was a little bit of ETH that was in it, and I thought it was an old defunct wallet, but it was actually just some sort of reward that I got from Augur back in 2016 or sorry 2017. So that was a nice little surprise there. But yeah, I've been basically building products ever since then and being an early user of a lot of these projects on ETH. So trending after that, I've built everything from NFT marketplaces to wallets. But the bulk of my development experience and our team's development experience happened kind of in what we call food coin summer, which was kind of the DeFi takeover and your traditional farming sort of DeFi activity on Ethereum. So dating back to when Sushi did the vampire attack to take liquidity away from Uniswap. Like I was a very early user on that and farming yams and all of the coins that were popping up in that regard. And the bulk of our development experience with that was really building UIs on top of these farming contracts and on top of these DeFi contracts. So auto compounding tools using like Urine Finance and similar strategies like that. And when Lido launched, that really piqued our interest an incredible amount because um, we were farming a lot of these DeFi tokens, which are just inflationary in nature. So with Sushi and these other models, they're rewarding people with yield, but that yield is just in the form of inflation, and it's not really true value that people were getting. And when Lido launched and the beacon chain was live on Ethereum, it was this sort of like wow moment for a lot of people who were deep into that space where now that is a validator mechanism on Ethereum, and this ability to do liquid staking and participate as a validator or participate in validation without setting up your own validator, there's a true source of revenue that can drive a lot of this DeFi activity. And I think that was a huge mental barrier for a lot of people from TradFi when trying to understand what the future of decentralized finance could be. Um, and having that real on-chain revenue source coming from validators really stuck out to us. So started building a lot within the Lido ecosystem and on top of Lido and these same auto compounding tools. And um, that kind of transitions to the story of the birth of K9. So we gained a ton of experience there and really recognized that real yield, what we're calling it, yield that's on chain and coming from a true revenue source, was the future of DeFi. And being an early user, saw a lot of these protocols launch on ETH, like not only Lido, but other core DeFi products like Aave, Curve, etc. Um, and this past summer, um, one of our advisors, whom I've been very, very good friends with ever since I got into the space in 2016, he is the founder of ETH Toronto. And the SHIB team was the main sponsor of ETH Toronto this past summer. And Meyer, our advisor, was kind enough to introduce us directly to the SHIB team this past summer because he knew that we were building a lot of DeFi products on Ethereum, and said, "Hey, well, Shib is launching Shibarium. They're the main sponsor here. You guys should definitely connect." And immediately after connecting with the Shib team and Shy and Cal, there was a clear way that we would be working together in the future, and a clear recognition that a true yield LSD product would be a big game changer for Shibarium. And fast forwarding to now, we've been able to launch K9 in terms of selling out the pre-sale, launching our light paper, technical documentation, and become an official SHIB project as well. So we did know early on that due to our experience and sort of our clout, so to speak, in the space, that we would be able to become an official SHIB project and get that support for launching such a critical piece of infrastructure. But very proud that we've been able to get that public recognition and really working heavily now towards that March 7th launch.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So if anyone here was holding a litmus test to find out whether Buzz was legit or knew what he was talking about when he, mentioned he'd been in the space since 2016, I think you got your answer right there. Highly technical analysis and a really nice job laying out all of your past experience. One thing that makes me bullish about working with you is how everything that you've done has been it's from your history, kind of seems very oriented to how do we make money. And so, for me, I like that in a CEO of a project, because it means in the same way you see value here in Shibarium, you see value in Shiba Inu. Obviously, it's a very powerful organization. I didn't even know that they were the ones that sponsored ETH Toronto. It's not always clear where and when money is being spent from that ecosystem, but hopefully, as the DAO comes out and in the future, there'll be some more transparency on spending on their end. But when it comes to Shiba Inu and Shibarium, do you see the value case here? What's drawing it to you in the same way that some of those other farming opportunities in the past and arbitrage opportunities in the past presented to you back then?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've built on many chains since 2016. ETH, even EOS. I have no idea what's going on with EOS now, but we were building a lot of stuff there back when it launched. Avalanche, Arbitrum, Polygon, like there's pretty much any EVM chain that's out there, we've probably built something on it. And I noticed such a stark difference in the SHIB community versus the communities of those other blockchains. So wherever I've built in the past, there's been so many other great builders building really cool products. But it was so development focused, and we are all kind of developers early on, like talking about these amazing products and what they could do in the future. And then these products would get deployed, and really no one would use them up until these bull runs came in 2017. There was some sort of activity, but not really. And then the last bull run, a lot more users to these products came. But I see the stark difference in Shibarium. So we have the power of the Shib Army, which everyone kind of knows about, and these tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of users and token holders that are so hungry to see the success of Shibarium and the success of Shib, and they're so eager to be using products that are deployed on Shibarium. But there are these technical barriers that sort of exist for them to do so right now, and the chain could benefit so much by having builders deploying products there. And when I look at and when our team looks at just the opportunity of Shibarium, we see so many users that are going to be primed to use and benefit from using K9, but also just a very, very attractive valuation for a chain. Like when you look at the market cap of Bone being about 150 million, I know there was a pump yesterday, but I haven't looked at the price today. And then you compare it with other layer twos or even layer one chains. We're looking at multi-billion-dollar valuations of these chains, and I don't think that it's presumptuous of me to say that there are chains out there that have maybe at least 5x the market cap of Bone, that probably don't deserve that and don't have nearly as many users and the retail interest that Shibarium and the Shib Army has. So we see tremendous upside with Shibarium. We see tons of users that are going to want to use it, and just some technical barriers of key products that people are going to want to have, and it's the expectation that they will have to have a thriving DeFi ecosystem in that community. So one
Yeah,
is of course the LSD, and then that's what we're bringing to the table.
yeah, and it's a good segue to talk about that, which I do want to get in one second here, but I do just want to make one comment about what you had just said. Is yeah, it's been a little bit puzzling to me at first, because and it begs a bigger question: who are the people that are invested in Shiba Inu, the token? Right? There's millions of holders. What percentage of them are centralized exchange? What percentage of them are DeFi traders? And when it comes to Shibarium itself, you know, I'm like, there's all these millions of holders, but then why isn't Shiba Inu Shibarium seeing the volume that we would expect from those millions of DeFi holders and that excitement around it? And I do think that your point is key on is that we're simply waiting for some of the infrastructure. This is the initial rollout. The team's doing tons of work, making sure to test with high levels of volume, high levels of variance, and they're clearly building and working behind the scenes to do this, but we are missing a couple of key pieces of technology here. Do you think that, for example, Shibaswap, like an official DEX, is going to increase the excitement for projects launching on Shibarium? And then we could talk about, your K9 after.
Oh, I think it is for sure. I think Shibaswap 2.0 is going to be a huge draw. I speak with Shy and Cal weekly, if not twice a week, and I'm kind of lucky enough to kind of see behind the scenes of what is being built there, just because our product needs to directly integrate into it. So I need some of the technical documentation in order to be building the correct way. I think that just having that official DEX is going to give people a lot of trust in using the token. I think another barrier is a bridge, which is being solved with not only with the Shib team, but some great partners like Sharby as well, which are giving people easier ways to bridge over to the chain. And then I just think that an LSD is just when people are participating in DeFi and going to delegate to a validator. It's just the expectation now. So I think these are key products to be launching.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Let's talk about the LSD. Let's talk about what that is. Maybe we can talk about what it did for Ethereum a little bit, because I know that what Lido is a little bit. Just kind of give a little backstory context, and then we can talk about, how you guys are doing it and what it's going to be doing for Shibarium and what the value case is for the users.
Yeah. So I'll talk from a historic perspective, just for any listeners who might not be in the know there, which is fine, because I'm very, very, very deep in this, so I love talking about it. So when Ethereum transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake, it was basically advertised at a high level that this is a way and a technical improvement to make the blockchain faster and cheaper, which it has been. It's been very successful. And the difference in that is that rather than having GPU miners, or not GPU, but miners basically using a lot of electricity to validate blocks, we were going to do so in a manner where validators could be set up where they would have a certain amount of tokens in each validator to prove that they're a good actor, and then they could validate blocks. Not an entirely accurate technical representation, but good high level. And this was very successful, and Lido was one of the first products to recognize that, hey, it requires a lot of ETH to set up your own validator and validate blocks. So let's allow people to delegate to validators so that they could participate in this and earn yield, which used to be the block rewards for validating blocks. So let's allow people to do it with even fractions of ETH, but let's do it so that they don't have to lock up their ETH, and let's give them this receipt token, this representation of what they have locked up in a validator, so that they can use it in all other areas of DeFi. So that was, I would have to look on a chart to see what the price of Ethereum was at that time, but I would guess that it's very easy to look up that the price of
So,
ETH was exponential, and also the DeFi activity was
so
more importantly. Yeah.
just to clarify one thing quick here, a question that I have about this is this all happened and Lido Finance got big when they switched to proof of stake, right? That was was that in early 2022 or late 2021?
Yeah, it was actually like prior to when they switched over to proof of stake. So it was with the beacon chain and sort of when things started there. So it was a little bit earlier than that, and then it kind of went parabolic when things actually opened up and went proof of stake and the beacon chain opened.